Alright, so me, Jamie, Aaron, and Cole, we're going to be talking about AI today. Okay, so our first topic on AI is about jobs, and that's kind of going to be the biggest point that we'll talk about. So first of all, I want to start up with saying about, the Writers Guild of America and the Actors Union go on strike. So earlier this year, in 2023, there was a big strike due to AI, where a bunch of actors and writers thought that AI was going to actually take over basically the industries, and people would lose their jobs. And that's why a lot of writers and actors went on strike, because it would really affect their jobs, and some of them would go jobless. But when it comes to AI and jobs, not everyone would lose their jobs.
Why'd they go on strike if they're gonna lose their jobs to AI?
Well, it's like they're gonna stop. They stopped working.
Wouldn't they just replace the people with AI then if they went on strike? They
Well,
go, we can't do it right now.
Well, it's not like they're like the AI technology is like very advanced to like do stuff.
Just the idea of it.
The idea of it, because that's what made most of them go on strike. The whole idea that like they would lose their jobs to AI
Gotcha.
further in the future, and they basically did the strike just so I guess you could say is like they wouldn't like have movies. Like that's kind of like the whole deal about it.
Gotcha.
But like I said before, not everyone will be replaced by jobs. There's some certain tasks that definitely AI can't do, like a lot of physical and manual labor. They all can't do that. But there is, jobs that can be taken over. But not all. So, and this kind of goes down to one of my topics with restaurant working robots and bartenders. In Japan recently, they've had multiple, robots and like bartenders like taking up those jobs. Like AI and robots do those jobs for people as like servers and like bartenders.
So I just have a question. Do you think that, do you personally think that eventually no one's gonna have a job and it's just gonna be like robots?
I doubt
working?
it. I feel like very, 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 like hundreds years into the future, like possibly. But like right now we don't have the technology where like robots can like have like movement where like they can do manual and like physical labor. Like the movement's not like as advanced. So that's why I think they wouldn't really like be able to like do every single job. Like they have like the bartending and like the restaurant ones, like those are easy. Like those are little easy jobs that they can do as like servers, like just the robot literally just wheels out their food, or like they have like for bartenders they have like a program on what to put in like drinks as a bartender, and they just serve it. So like maybe sooner in the future there will be like those jobs with like smaller tasks that will be like taken over that not a lot of people like really do. Like bartending and like food serving, like it's big, but it's like something very simple and probably something that could be taken over by AI. Anything else by anyone?
Nah.
I'll continue a little bit. So another point that I have is AI won't be able to completely take out all jobs, but jobs that are, I already said that. Like collecting data jobs, those jobs as well. AI is very good with collecting data, and jobs where you collect just multiple things of data, like I guess you could say like financing stuff, that can like, be at risk with AI and robots. And that's kind of just the whole thing. It's just jobs. There's jobs at risks, and like a lot of people don't like it. And like this could even force people to go on strike. Yeah, Cole?
When do you think the finance and that type of industry, when do you think the jobs will start to take it over?
Well, I'm not entirely sure. I couldn't really say anything because like if I'm gonna be honest, I don't really know how far along they are, like with collecting data, like with AI being able to collect data so well. So, I couldn't really tell you. Like, there's probably like they probably have like AI out there that's already doing it, but it's not like mass produced. So,
That can go right into my topic because I have like the effects of AI on the military and economy, and AI in the military can like if it's inside drones, it can like collect data on like threats like during battles.
How does it know the difference between friendly and enemy?
I assume it's programmed.
this program, like with these programs, it's able to like identify.
You know, like most-
AIs are extremely smart. Of course, you know that.
Yeah.
And like they can identify things and they can collect that data and whatever it needs, like whatever it's assigned to a program to do.
They probably have like pigs or something like that.
That
Oh, yeah, like
too.
somebody
They-
carry
around.
I would assume they would have things and all that.
And then there's I think Cole has something with healthcare, so maybe he can put a little into this. There's healthcare on the battlefields, like for the military, called robotic ground platforms, which is used for like surgery for soldiers. All right.
Nothing to add.
Uh,
Nothing to add with like technology, like medical field, or not yet.
Not yet. I'll go into it in a
We'll
little
go
while.
Okay.
back into it. All right.
But back to like AIs and drones, they can like help make a plan without putting a human at risk. Like in the middle of the war zone.
So like it can just like come out with like it can like basically just print out like the safest like idea and like I guess the best way to execute something.
Yeah.
Does it account for military success or human personnel? The lives of the personnel more?
What do you mean?
Does it care about humans' lives when it's...
So is
Doing-
it like
would it-
like more of a safe way to do it, or is it like to
Well-
get
Is it
the
gonna
task,
pick
or is it
the-
to get the
yeah,
well,
the
Pick
task
the best
done?
strategy to get it done.
Best strategy to get it done, but without having to have like
Casualties.
an actual person go in and do it. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Then we can hop in to the economy. Dylan, didn't you say something about finance?
Well, I said some stuff about finance, but it's mostly like taking over like financial jobs, like doing jobs that like involve lots of numbers and like
Like data.
like data, like numbers,
Processing.
and like
Accounting.
yeah, like
Okay.
all that stuff, like those type of jobs, and like jobs with like equations and things, like even like math, just like mostly stuff about that.
Well, the GDP could go up by 7%, which is nearly $7 trillion, and it'll boost productivity growth by 1.5% in finance, like
By when?
generative AI. I believe 2030. I think is.
That's pretty good.
Is that the U.S. alone, or is that?
Well, America
Global
and
growth.
yeah, but then America and China are supposed to benefit the most because they're like the
They're the
biggest-
ones, like they're the big producers
Yeah.
of like this artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
So, Cole, do you want to go back to kind of like your
I'll
healthcare
start
stuff?
talking about how AI is like changing the medical industry. So a little backstory. In the 1970s, I think students from Stanford University, they started looking into it, things like the first AI called Mycin, spelled MYCIN, and it was used to like detect blood infections. It was really, I mean, simple AI, but it was like the building block for many AI now in the future. But it was stopped in the 90s because it started getting outdated. And then in the future, it's predicted that AI in the medical industry could be worth about 187 billion in 2030, which is quite a bit considering in 2021 it was valued at about only 11 billion. So it's going to drastically increase.
Is that in the world or in the U.S.? Do you know?
I believe it was in the world, but I'm not sure. Basically, AI in healthcare, basically it just finds new ways to diagnose and treat injuries and diseases, especially rare diseases. It can recognize different patterns because many of these rare diseases are like genetic, meaning it's passed down from family, and it helps detect those early, where it'd be easier to treat or more curable, which is very important. Another thing that it really helps with is diabetes. The United States has a really big problem. About 10% of the population currently has diabetes, and that's in the United States. And AI, it's been working for quite a long time, but it helps them control their glucose levels, and it monitors them 24/7, and it tells when they need more sugar or just things like that. It really helps. It also helps in the third world countries or the developing nations. There's a lot fewer doctors in these countries, and if you need to go to the doctor, it costs just a lot more. And so AI can help answer health-related questions and ways to fix things without having to spend quite a bit of money, because in those countries it's quite a bit. And I'll just finish up with a story. His name was Jan Oskan. He was in an accident about 10 years ago. Actually, it's probably around 11 now. And he was paralyzed from the accident. He was in a motorcycle. But now that AI happened, he's finally able to walk again. AI inserted electronic implants, which basically allowed him to finally communicate between his brain and his spine. This surgery would have been really, really risky with humans operating on him, but AI can get really, really precise, and it worked.
Wait, so did it put something in there that helped it communicate, or does his brain communicate to the AI and the AI communicates to his legs?
Yeah, so basically the electronic implants basically just helped them communicate. Like, think of it like the brain couldn't really talk to like the spine, like they were kind of disconnected, and then
So it kind of like was a nerve signal
Yeah,
that I can
and it
like.
kinda
So
brought
it,
it.
like the AI kind of like helped with bringing that signal, like that nerve.
Does he
signal
have
to
to
the,
like use it
from his
all
brain
the
to his
time?
leg.
it's like implanted. It's like always
So
on.
it's just an implant that's.
So it just like, okay.
So it's like it's what basically I guess I would assume
Think of
is-
like plugging in your phone. Like it,
Yeah.
like
Oh, it just connects it to
Yeah,
it.
it kinda just
Okay.
connected it.
It's like, okay, gotcha.
like it's this the brain is like able to actually send like the nerves and like the signal that the legs need, where it wasn't like receiving that before.
Gotcha.
And stories like this are going to be becoming more and more frequent with the increased use of AI.
Education. How AI affects education. It was found in the spring of 2023, so last school year, that about 9% of faculty use AI, and the same study was done again in the fall of 2023, and it was found that 22% of faculty used AI, which is a huge increase in people using AI.
Why do you think it jumped so high?
I think it just made it a lot easier to do lesson plans and create.
Sorry, there was a bird just
In your pocket, Aaron?
I think that it increased because, yeah, it was just easier to write lesson plans and plan for classes. With AI, you could just ask it questions or ask it to draw up lesson plans for you. And it just did the same thing it would take the teachers. Wait, hold on. It did the same thing the teachers would do, but in less time, which made it a lot easier and more effective than
So it wasn't as
if a teacher did it.
Just get it done.
Yeah, it's just a lot faster and better lesson plans too. Oh, yeah.
Just like really quick, do you think Mr. Hawk is guilty of this?
I think Mr. Hawk definitely is guilty of this, and he definitely uses AI for all of his plans. I actually saw him using ChatGPT the other day, so that might be, yeah.
Definitely, I think there's a bunch of other teachers that have. I know Mr. Brill has, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, it makes it easier.
Yeah,
so.
I know some
definitely
of the
lies,
English,
yeah.
I know some of the English teachers, they like almost advise you, just with like reading essays and things like
Oh yeah,
that.
just to check it. So,
They
yeah.
almost like make you do it.
Yeah.
This is Miss Olenichik's class. She basically makes you
Yeah, that way.
submit your papers into AI to see how well your papers are really written.
Right. That way, the teachers don't have to check if you're writing and stuff all the time. They can use the AI as like another teacher, basically.
Kind of like a second opinion.
Yeah, just instead of if you can't get access to your teacher, you can just ask the AI. Along that line, in the spring of 2023, again last year, about 27% of students used AI for their schoolwork and other things. And the same study was done in fall of 2023, and it was found that 49% of students used AI. So that's a huge increase. It's almost 50% of students in schools using AI for something, whether that be homework or all sorts of stuff. It's not necessarily students cheating on stuff. They could be using it to ask questions and figure stuff out without having to contact their teachers, which can make it a lot easier to access than going to talk to your teacher.
What percent of people students do you think would actually use AI for cheating?
I think it's probably a relatively low percentage. I think AI is really great for if you have to ask questions or, like you said, proofread stuff. So that could be a leading factor in them using it. And with AI, the checking software to see if it's made by an AI or not is getting a lot of students from using them. I think in the past it was mostly cheating because they realized they could just write papers with it, but now with all the new technology, I think it's a lot harder to get away with that. So, the AI, like I said, is like a second teacher, but it also helps you learn if you don't have a teacher. If you want to learn about something new, if you want to learn about a topic that your school doesn't offer, or just something you're interested in, it's really easy just to ask, like a thing like ChatGPT or other AI, just questions. You can just ask them as much questions as you want, and they'll know most of the answers. So it makes it a lot easier to learn just general topics because you can have access to the internet, but not have to scroll through articles and stuff to find all that information. Some faculty thinks that students needs to know how to use AI to prepare them for the future, but a lot of them also believe that AI hinders their learning and they shouldn't be using it. The argument for people or the teachers wanting them to use AI is because they believe that AI is going to be the future. They should know how to use it and prepare them for the future. And the argument for those who don't support students using AI is that they're not doing the learning and they're just relying on an AI to do a lot of it for them, which, I mean, there's strong arguments in either direction, so it's really a personal opinion. Back to the faculty using the AI, never mind. Cole.
Yes. Sorry, I had a voice crack.
I'll kind of.
So this is kind of a question for Dylan as well. But do you think that like teachers' jobs could be taken over by AI? This would be like way down the line. I understand, but like
Honestly,
Yeah.
I also want to go back to your topic with healthcare too. Like I said, I feel like like I said before, as we said like earlier in the podcast, it's gonna probably take years until AI like fully takes over every single job. But honestly, for now, I feel like maybe teaching might be a little bit closer to that risk where AI could like potentially like take over more like teaching jobs because it's pretty advanced and like that stuff that teachers teach. I think that might be something that like AI could like get like a lots of data from and like honestly just take over. But like also when it comes to back to your healthcare, that might be something a little bit harder with AI because AI doesn't truly really know a lot of like the human body like it will with like topics on like war, math, English, stuff like that.
Statistics and stuff like that with the
It's
processing. Yeah.
it's gonna be a lot harder, but when it comes to like healthcare and stuff, we have the AI basically that can like help us like with like infections, like in diagnosing stuff. That's probably gonna be a while for a very long time.
yeah.
We're gonna have that, and it's like this is more of like a thing that's kind of like just assisting the job at the moment, and it's just gonna mostly help out. It's just gonna make those jobs easier. Like I don't really think we truly have a lot of like AI and like robots that can do surgery and like simple procedures just yet. We might have a couple. I think Jamie might have mentioned one.
I
But
did,
yeah, he did.
but for
And
for military.
it's mostly for military, and like it's gonna probably be a long time before like the public, it's something like the public would get like treated. So I think with like certain jobs, as I kind of explained before, it's gonna be a lot harder to like have robots take over and like AI.
Yeah, I think the jobs that are more specific have more specific things and vary from case to case, like the medical field. Those things that human bodies have so many different aspects and are different between different people. It's hard for the AI to be able to distinguish all those factors and react to them all. It requires a lot of coding and information put into the AI.
Yeah, it's gonna
So
be
it's a lot easier for humans to decide on the site what they should do.
That's probably also why it's only for military right now because it's just like for surgery for injuries.
Yeah,
So it's probably easier to.
It's gonna be like
Yeah.
that stuff, and it's probably even just risky to give it out to the public just yet, like because they're probably still doing a ton of work on it.
It would also hurt the economy
It
if
would.
AI were to take over for each
Yeah.
country.
But it does benefit some countries that really don't have like a lot of doctors. It
Right,
really
right.
does. It can like probably like the life expectancy. Can't speak. People would probably live longer, and it would just help a lot more with like places that like don't have a lot of doctors.
Yeah,
Overall.
and tying back to the education, as students go through schooling with AI and use it as more and more, I think that it has a increased chance of becoming more integrated with jobs and roles in life due to people knowing how to use it and use it properly. So that's basically it. That was our podcast on AI and its effect on the world.
Thank you for listening, Mr. Hawk.